will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. Women Liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
You said about South Africa, we give him, that is to say, white people, 24 hours to get out of town by sundown. That's all. If he won't get out of town by sundown, we'll kill every white that ain't right that's in sight in South Africa. We kill the women, we kill the children, we kill the babies, we kill the blind, we kill the cripple, we kill them all. We kill the faggot, we kill the lesbian, we kill them all. You say, why kill the babies in South Africa? Because they're going to grow up and oppress our babies, so we kill the babies. Are you seriously presenting yourself as a man interested in the future of your people with this kind of rhetoric?
I'm just as interested in the freedom of my people as I am in the self-determination or the Kujichagulia, self-development, them being self-defining, self-respecting, and self-defending. If the white man has killed millions of our people, and you cannot deny the undeniable and indisputable and irrefutable truth, fact, proof, and history of their bloodshed there in South Africa, I said it would be merciful if they would leave. I don't agree with a government, a sham government. No man walks out of prison after 27 years and becomes the president unless there's a script and a plan behind the scenes to remove the economic sanctions from whites in South Africa, but no real plan for redistribution of the wealth. The Oppenheimers, the De Beers, and others there sucking the blood of our people. So I said, be merciful. Give them a period of time. Truman gave the Japanese a period of time, but when they didn't comply, he dropped the bomb on men, women, children, and babies. I make no apology for that statement.
You this rhetoric We will continue
and action.
and action. Action. What kind of action? Strategy to effect what in the United States of America? Let's start with
Well,
us.
no wise general sits with a representative of the opposition to discuss battle strategy and battle plans before the entire world. I don't think that would be wise. But we've given all the time we've been in America. Now it's time we do something for ourselves. We are the same people, Phil, that when you beat us and rearrange our eyeballs in the socket and rearrange our face and beat us and stomp us before the world, we're the same people that get up because God just made us with tender and sensitive hearts as his chosen people and say, well, can't we just get along? Sir, this is not reverse racism nor discrimination that you could tie into your statement on Hitler. If the slave master is whipping the slave and blood is running down the slave's back, and that's incidentally where the term cracker comes from the cracker man who was had the crack of the whip on the slave's back. But if the slave takes the slave master's whip from him and starts whipping the slave master with his own whip, that is not reverse racism, that is not reverse discrimination, that is the slave getting out from under the yoke of bondage and oppression. I don't advocate what Hitler has done before the world. Hitler's struggle. I went to the Holocaust Memorial Museum and I tried to separate Hitler as a freak of nature from the rest of white people. But after all that we have gone through, I know that there's a little bit of Hitler in all white people and a lot of Hitler.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, my brother Bakari? And I'm gonna wait to the end to kind of get my the point, my message out, or the reason I came on here. When more people come on here, there's more people at the end. So I'm gonna start saying it at the end. But let me put the link in the chat. I don't plan on being on here long. Just some told me to come on here, and it's like really two main things that I wanted to talk about. I guess just for me, but there's two things I wanted to talk about. So anybody who want to come on, you can come on. I know people don't get the notifications or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I know it take a while for people to come in here. So, while we waiting, I'm gonna just play this video here, you know what I'm saying? Just because I don't want to keep going through the same things. But I'm gonna let those of you watching, so you don't have to take my word for anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring in somebody who you'll listen to. You know what I'm saying? If they tell you something, then maybe you'll listen. You know what I'm saying? So let me share the first one. So Jane Elliott, you know what I'm saying? She was talking about the backlash about the Little Mermaid. You know what I'm saying? And shouts out to that sister who, her sister came out and said, I'm proud of her for doing what she did for little black boys and girls. And the reaction she saw is just, it was worth it. But, Jane Elliott and I guess people would know her last name was actually Brown. It was Jane Brown, but she got married. You know what I'm saying? So Jane Brown. Oh, I don't know that. I'm just saying, y'all so caught up with the John Brown experience. You got the modern day Jane Brown here. You know what I'm saying? So let me play this. Okay. Oh. Hold on. It ain't working right now.
Panelists, let's see. I'm going to start with the educator first. I'm a Congo. You get the first question for Jane Elliott.
Wow, it's
Wow.
truly an honor to talk to you, Ms. Elliott, for all of just the work that you've done and inspiring so many of us who do this work in diversity education.
Wow. Thank you, Miss Brown, Mrs. John Brown, Mrs. Jane Brown, for leading our people, because we need this white hero savior. So I'm just basking in your presence here, lady.
I just really want to thank you. The question that I have for you is, could you speak a little bit to the reverse aspect of this? Because I hear people talking about a Black person playing a Little Mermaid, but they've had nothing to say about the over 100 white characters throughout history, actors who have played non-white people like Othello and Genghis Khan and Cleopatra. Could you speak a little bit to that hypocrisy?
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't know, because I seen Black people be like, yo, forget Malcolm X. I have not seen too many Black people, except for like me, I guess, and whoever else, Bakari, talk about Jane Elliott that way. So I don't know if I can even compare her to Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Black people go at Malcolm X, which is interesting.
That hypocrisy is what put us where we are today. We're absolutely determined as palefaces not to admit the truth and not to see the truth. And when you walk into a room, or as happened with me, I was giving a speech at a college at a university in Texas. In the middle of my remarks, some teacher stood up and said, "I just look for the person's heart." We deliberately teach people to ignore the largest organ on a person's body, inch by inch, which is their skin, in order to think we have to get along with them.
Now, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because we was just talking to some people saying we shouldn't even concept on the largest organ on our body, which is our skin, you know what I'm saying? And set aside these things, you know what I'm saying? Because, how could we have, Jane Brown's amongst us if we, said we're Black only or Black first or any of that, you know what I'm saying? How can we possibly invite, Jane Brown to the barbecue thinking this way?
Which is their skin, in order to think we have to get along with them. This is so ridiculous that we are going to pretend that the Little Mermaid couldn't possibly have been anything but white. First, it's a fairy tale, but the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were not white. Whites came last, and we are going to go first. Make no mistake about this. Long after we so-called white people.
Wait, say that one more time. As I can't say this, you know what I'm saying? So, I may need to pay my homage to Jane Brown over here.
And that the Little Mermaid couldn't possibly have been anything.
What up, Rasheed Holmes?
But white. First, it's a fairy tale, but the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were not white. Whites came last, and we are going to go first. Make no mistake about this. Long after we so-called white people have died of melanoma or some other problem.
Now, y'all remember that, like when that comedian, that white dude, Gary Owens, you know what I'm saying? He had his wife say the N-word for him, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let Jane Elliott be their coon and do that for me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get her to say these things since we so scared to say them. One more time, Jane Brown.
Last, and we are going to go first. Make no mistake about this. Long after we so-called white people have died of melanoma or some other problem because of the lack of melanin in our skin, all these people of color will still be there, and they'll still be productive.
And I ain't tell her to add that part about because of their lack of melanin either. She just added it to make her feel better. So I take back my compliment, Jane Brown. I didn't tell you to say that.
And they'll still be creative, and they'll still be doing wonderful things, just like they were when they managed to populate every landmass on the face of the earth. People of color from countries in Africa at the equator populated.
Uh-oh, wait. Did she just throw the people of color in there? So that Jane Brown losing points over here with me. I don't know about y'all, but
countries in Africa at the equator populated originally.
So I wonder how much money she's making off Black people saying all this feel good stuff. Everything right there you see is paid for probably in colored dollars, people of color dollars, or is it Black dollars? I'm not sure. She's on a I don't know. He's probably a person of color though, so don't know.
Populated every landmass on the face of the earth. Why are we afraid to admit that? And why aren't we teaching that? Why aren't we teaching that this continent, this what we call the United States of America, this continent was discovered by people of color between 200,000, no, 20,000 and 10,000 years before Columbus was a gleam in his father's eye. It's time for us to stop teaching the lie and start teaching the truth. It will make everything.
You heard her, Bakari. You heard Jane Brown. She said people of color discovered it however long before Christopher Columbus was a twinkle in his father's eye. You heard her. People of color, my brother, all day, every day. Now, you know, with this chick here, you know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is. I just wanted to play that, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I said, man, I gotta get her like that black chick that came up and was saying the N-word for that white dude, you know, or that comedy sketch where the white boy got the brother to, you know what I'm saying, say the N-word, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But you know, I know she you know, she's there for y'all because, you know, just to give y'all a image of what I was doing, because they do this kind of stuff all the time. I was just doing this in reverse, you know what I'm saying? They probably take this down though. Because, you know,
Yo, what's up, Ken?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Yo, you got my money?
Oh, sorry, bro. I had to buy a new pair of rocker bottom shoes. I'll get money to you next week. Is that cool, dude?
Hell no, that ain't cool, dude. Where my money? I need my money right now.
You don't have to be talking to me like that.
see, hold on, my bad, y'all. But see, this was Jane Elliott's role in, you know what I'm saying, in reverse, you know what I mean?
Me like that.
Nigga.
All right, that's enough of this crap. All right, so let me play one more thing before I get into the main thing. You know what I'm saying? One more topic. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of that, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of us kind of give a pass to the biracial thing. And somebody put up a warning for people who play this. Let me play this first video because like this one is disturbing, but I'm gonna go past it after this, after I play it. Now look at this one, yo. What the? This is the type of stuff you got to look forward to at the barbecue. But the barbecue can be packed though, y'all. So it's all right. Yeah, now I don't want to play this sister video, but this one was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested to hear what people have to say. You know, this is a white mom, and I got to give her credit because she's a pioneer with this. She did it before I did. You know what I'm saying? Saying biracials is white. You know, she started saying this before I did. I'm only gonna play a few seconds of this.
Fuck is. Cause I ain't the one. Gone.
Hold up, like, wait, like, hold up, like. I kid you not. As I was looking at this, I was like, who is the black mama? Like, I swear to God, I was like, maybe she's a lesbian and like, you know, her wife or girlfriend or whatever is a black woman. So like, you know, then yeah, the kids will have a black mama. But I'm like, I think I'm reaching. I think she claiming that she the black mama. Like, y'all, let's get into this.
All right, yo. So I just want to play that, but let me play this one though. This is this video these white girls are saying about having these exotic mixed babies or whatever, you know, the black children, y'all. And the sound will come on. She was saying she was expecting to have a mixed kid, but she's disappointed because she got a whole Caucasian baby.
It's not that I don't like white guys, it's that I don't like white babies. And mind you, I'm white, so if they're white and we have one of these things, I am not risking being pregnant for 9 months to have one of those little red ass looking ass things come out of me. Okay, we do not need any more kids in the foster care system, and that is exactly where that little thing is going. Bye bye.
So they was hoping to make olive babies.
I'm literally crying over my nails right now because they're so ugly. Oh my god, okay. This is what I wanted, okay? This is the pastels, and this is what I got. So here we
Nah, I don't know. These chicks is crazy. But yo, speaking of this, brothers, let me play this one. You know what I'm saying? This could be a horror story out there for you. You know what I'm saying? The mindset of some of these people. Yo, what up, Wanda? What's going on? How you doing? What up, my brother Guy? And then after these couple Jones, we're gonna get into the main topic. Like I said, these ones is kind of short, but this brother, I gotta let this brother tell his story about his adventures with his white girlfriend. Luckily, he didn't go on no hunting trip, or he didn't go kayak, how you say, canoeing or whatever it is, and ended up in the Idaho River. You know what I'm saying? But this is his testimony.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have.
She sympathized with the woman that lied about Emmett Till. She specifically said it must have been so hard for her to carry that secret all those years. That is the story I tell when I tell people that I don't think I will ever date a white woman again. Because she sympathized more with the lying white woman.
I wonder why she would sympathize with a lying white bitch and not a dead black man or young child or baby or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These people are responsible for probably more deaths than anybody. I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can name like whole cities that got destroyed because of white bitch. You know what I'm saying? And you see here, you know what I'm saying? He had to learn the hard way, and hopefully he didn't, thankfully he didn't have to learn the hard way in court with the white bitch hitting that squinty eye fake cry thing, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get him locked up. So, you know. Yo, what up, Lamar Thompson?
Then the black boy that was killed.
And yo, and I can't just say the black dude, like this was another thing that was going on Twitter, the Massa TikTok challenge. And this kind of goes to what we're going to talk about because the stuff that they was playing, but look at this, man.
Massa. 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 Massa.
Whoa. Now that was pretty crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie on that one. And you know, that's a whole trend that's going on. And then they actually use like you know, weight in the more water and all of this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that. But before we do that, like one thing I did want to go on, and Bakari, if you want to come on, I'm gonna talk about what you showed me. Oh, I've been good. I've been good. You know, I appreciate you for coming through. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna bring up the Deion Sanders thing if you want to come on and talk about that one real quick. You know what I'm saying? Or anybody who want to talk about that. So let me see, because I'm gonna skip the other one because I did have one about Afro, quote unquote, Afro Latinos, and then a bunch of, you know, Hispanics talking about why they not black and this whole biracial thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I mean? But yo, what up, Bakari?
What's going on?
Nothing much, my brother. Nothing much. You wanted to say
Amani
something?
Mungu. Look,
Yeah,
man,
Amani Mangu.
it's Mungu.
Mungu, my bad.
Yeah, man, that old white bitch Jane Elliott. She making money off black folks. She's saying all the feel good shit black people want to hear. White people was last. I'm telling you, they be listening. White people was last on earth. See, all you got to do is look, and it's just a bunch of bullshit what she's spewing, right? Because for somebody, she's one of those. She's a proponent of race don't exist, right? Shouldn't nobody be racist? Ain't that what she is? So, and she want everybody to be the same, right? White people in most of the world, they're Neanderthals. They're a different species of human than us. I won't say they wouldn't hit.
Hey, Bakari. Well, she kind of says, don't act like there's no differences, but she says like she's an anti-racist activist, if you know what that means.
And there's no such thing as is no racist. She said several times that she wake up and she have to fight racism. But black people is so glad to hear that, right? So they will pay her to come on a show and talk and do whatever, right? That old white woman. I'm not thinking about her, right? So then you got the young brother. He talking about how the white girl sympathized with the old white woman. Who the hell he thought she was going to sympathize with? I'm glad he learned at a young age. Good thing he didn't go canoeing, kayaking, or hunting. You know, he wouldn't have been able to say that. You feel me? That's a very good thing that he didn't do that. So now, and you see this on what you were just showing on TikTok, all those black girls with white dudes, right? And I promise you, man, that's a growing trend. I saw a little kid. I saw these people the other day. A black girl. She got a black son. That boy ain't mixed, but his stepdad is white. You could have saw he was staring at me. I'm like, well, maybe he want to see a black man around. But they don't even understand, and they don't even care about messing their kids up. They don't even care. So for me, I don't care about them. Somebody said, well, she's still your sister. No, she's not a sister of mine. No, she is not. Neither one of them. They're not a sister of mine. They get the same energy from me that black men get. I don't get it. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is mentally wrong. We're mentally disturbed with black people. Like Serena Williams, she literally married the white dude that started Reddit.com. He sold it. But look and see what Reddit.com was created for. Do y'all remember Reddit.com in the beginning? What was on Reddit.com? Do anybody in the chat remember that? Do you remember what it was for when it first started, Forecast?
They still use it for that reason.
It was a political platform where they just talk shit about black people. That's what her husband started. No, they ain't no sister of mine. When I see them, they ain't no sister, and they run into anybody. Now I'm at the store, you be out. Now they run into the Mexicans, trying to get the Mexican men attention. You know, and one of my friends trying to explain to me, well, you got to understand, you got to teach black people how to love. Fuck that. You got to teach them how to love black people, but you ain't got to teach them how to love a Mexican. You ain't got to teach them how to love a Chinaman. You ain't got to teach them how to love white. But you got to teach a black person to love a black person. Stop trying to give somebody a damn excuse. We got to just I understand this video and it's good. I understand what you're doing. But for me, I don't let them go. I'm just being honest. I don't just let them go. I've just let them go. They on their own. Some go wrong. They on their own. I'm just being honest. I can't continue to work in vain. How you the mic?
Yeah, I feel you, Bakari, and but I do think it's a valuable lesson for those who maybe, because like that young brother who was like, oh man, I ain't realize these white girls be like siding with the bitch that got Emmett Till killed. You know, that was a shock to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe if you can help one person, you know, not go hunting or canoeing or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, in Idaho or Kentucky or West Virginia or wherever it is, you know what I'm saying, or think IG model or a feisty Latino is somehow, you know, it's crazy to me, you know, that's feisty and all this stuff. But yo, like the mad black woman, mad black man thing. I don't get that, because you're supposed to be mad. Like, look at the situation you're in. You know, you're supposed to respond in calm, not be controlled by your emotions, but use that energy. You know. Yeah, what up, Cassandra? She said she's a trader. They sell out. We allow them to do them. They hate themselves and us. And I was talking about this the other day, you know what I'm saying? Most of these people who are doing that, if you ask them, there's some kind of hatred. I was showing the Umar Johnson thing when you had those two brothers on. You remember that video, Bakari? And you know, because when he brought up, he was like, yeah, I had black, and they do you just as wrong. In fact, they do you, you know what I'm saying? It's that energy. You could tell when that negative energy turned up when they start talking about black people, especially in their family. And I see that a lot. Like, yo, it's that trauma that something happened in most cases, you know what I'm saying? That hatred is just developed, like, yo, like, you know, they'll be like, yo, what about your, well, forget my mom. My mom did this and did that. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to speak on that, because we're gonna go to the Deion Sanders thing, so this one don't get drawn out, you know.
Oh, go ahead, go to Deion.
All right. So yeah, Bakari put me on this one. My bad if you was gonna talk about it, Bakari.
Oh, you good? You can talk about it. I can talk about it, shit. But you good? Go ahead.
All right, yo, this is the video right here. So I'm gonna play some of what he's saying, and now this is saying Deion Sanders, HBCU tradition. The future of Jackson State football. And the question is Deion Sanders, has he been helpful or has he been hurtful? You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to play like a couple of minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like the first couple of minutes, and you can stop whenever you want to, Bakari, you know what I'm saying? Because like really these are the two main things. So this is one of the two main things. So you know, you can take as much time on this. All right.
This is why I think he's corny. Let me not say corny. Corny the wrong word. I don't think he's genuine. I think he here, and I said this before, I think he here to boost his resume and his family name. And Jackson State is just a vehicle to do that. Not just Jackson State, HBCUs, period. And I think we being sold out by Deion Sanders right now. And we look like real coons.
Do we?
Yeah. I think 5 or 10 years from now, when he's gone, we're going to look back on this like, damn, we were cooning.
You cooning right now, Bakari. You heard my brother.
Oh, we're going to look.
Huh? What'd you say?
Oh, I ain't saying nothing. Let me see. That's what I think about what he's saying. We'll continue.
Like,
we're going to look like we wish that he stayed.
Or we're going to look like we benefited from this shit.
What benefit are we going to get?
Bro, we just got
when he's gone. When he's gone.
Jackson State is a school to come to.
Exactly.
The school is so much different in the 2.5 years he's been here.
He's been there.
It's so much different.
I haven't been up there since he's been here.
All right, so
they put so much money into that goddamn school.
Man, what?
Bro, you know how much people and just
they put some. They redid
all. That's all everybody gonna say is money. You don't got damn.
And you know, I will say this about Deion Sanders. He took a pay cut or whatever, and he also put a lot of his own money into the program. Like just from what I've you know, just looking at the situation from what I found out, I can't verify or whatever, but that's just the reports that I found, you know.
Other benefit, and when he leave, I guarantee his
what
benefit
do you want?
But you got more guys not going to leave. Bro, one you didn't know HBC player got drafted.
You think them boys got drafted because of Deion?
Yes.
Yeah. Think about it. They on ESPN every week now. We have never been on any major network.
On a Sunday night on ESPN. When had that happened since we've been living? Jackson State. Yeah.
But we've been doing fine with that.
No, we haven't. We haven't, James. No, we haven't.
It's the trap he wants y'all to fall into.
It's the trap he wants you to fall in, Bakari. He's setting it up. It could be right though, Bakari.
He could be.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hey, they everywhere, man. Ain't nothing you can do about them. They everywhere. The self-hate is real. If they had said something about HBCUs that was true, I've heard people say that the first day Deion Sanders got hired. The first day he accepted the job, they screamed, "Oh, he just there to build himself up. He gonna leave." Okay, he gonna leave. Well, allow him to coach first. Well, he got to coach before he leave, right? So let's say he go there. Do I want Deion to leave? Hell no. Deion got enough money, and I hope he's strong enough to turn down that money, right? I hope whenever it come, I hope he's strong enough. Like Jackson State women basketball coach. They see what she was doing. She said she was invited. She was offered a couple of interviews. She said she know why they were just interviewing her just to say they did. She turned them down. But then they had a couple of bigger schools that was offering her a few $100,000 a year, doubling what she's making. She turned it down. She turned it down because she said she's doing something great at Jackson State. So now you got Mo Williams. I don't know if y'all watch professional basketball or not, but Mo Williams, you understand? Who won a championship with LeBron, who played in the NBA many seasons. Now he is coaching basketball at Jackson State University. So when Deion went to Jackson State, Eddie George is now coaching at Tennessee State. Grambling State have an ex-NFL. You understand what I'm saying? So when they say he ain't doing nothing and we gonna look back and say we cooning, Deion is helping all of HBCUs, all of them. That's what he's doing. So if Deion decide to leave 5 years from now, or 3 years, 2 years, 3 years from now, when his son graduate, or 4 years from now, when his daughter graduate, who just committed to play basketball at Jackson State. Let's say he decided to leave when all of his kids go. Let's thank Deion for what he did. But I believe Deion gonna stay because I believe Deion is genuine. Have Deion done some things or said something? Well, not really said, but have I seen some things change that I wouldn't do, that I would say I don't agree with? Yeah. But overall, if we gonna rate, if I rate what Deion has done and what he's doing at Jackson State on a scale from 1 to 10, Deion get a 9.5 from me. He get a 9. Yes, he's done a couple of things that I don't agree with, but that's okay. So has the damn school done some stuff that I don't agree with.
Yeah, I think
HBCU. Hopefully, don't nobody watch their channel because they're hurting HBCU.
No, well, I think the three brothers is kind of giving good points as to how he helped. It's just this one dude. Like, he may just have some kind of, like, not like Deion Sanders particularly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know?
It must be the money.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. His team could have probably beaten his team because, you know, we'd be like, we for, like, a football team, but we don't be like, we for black people. We be like, what is black? You know what I'm saying? But then for football, yeah, we killed them boys last week. Yo, we killed them boys today, Bakari. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna only play a couple more, but like I said, yeah, these brothers right here is giving good points, and I'm gonna play a little bit more because they're gonna bring up some of this stuff you were saying.
Facts, bro. It is facts. You are right. You are right. You are right.
Oh, what up? What up, my brother Bill Gates?
See, that's why you gotta have facts. See how he say this is facts?
But it's real though. Like,
no, it is
no,
right.
don't get wrong. Do Jackson State got history before him? Heck yeah, absolutely.
And he don't acknowledge it. That's my problem. And this is my big problem. He's an outsider.
Bro, the insider's been truing up. That's why they got an outsider.
But an outsider got to come in a certain way.
Bro, everybody don't have this way.
No, he has enough cachet where he can come in.
Bro,
and
that's my
change
problem. He has cachet, not as a coach. He doesn't have cachet as an HBCU grad or any of this shit.
Now, the white boy was pissed because he said, he gave that number one prospect a gob of money or whatever it was. You know,
a gob. I don't even know how much a gob is. He said gob. What's up, Bill Gates? He said gob.
Yeah, so it was some kind of cachet there, and it was some kind of influence, you know. And if I'm a cornerback, I'm gonna go learn from Deion Sanders. Let's be real here. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he had an opportunity to learn. If he played football and had an opportunity to learn from Deion Sanders, as much as he hating, he would go learn from Deion Sanders too. You know.
Now, can I say something?
Yeah.
To call Deion Sanders an outsider, he's a brother. He's black. He's not an outsider, but I do understand what he's saying about they had the opportunity to go to an HBCU and they didn't. But when he say Deion don't acknowledge the tradition and the history that happened at Jackson State, he's lying. Not only did he acknowledge the tradition in the players that had come from Jackson State, he acknowledged the players in the tradition of HBCU. How can you not acknowledge Walter Payton? If you come on, think about that, man. Walter Payton, the greatest running back of all time. I know it's probably gonna be some people that say Barry Sanders or somebody like that, but I'm from Mississippi and we grew up watching HBCU. Right, I was an Alcorn State fan. Jackson State was my second school in Mississippi Valley. So, Jared,
It's hard to argue against Walter Payton, though. You know.
Walter Payton gonna always be the best to me. Jerry Rice, how he gonna say that? How can he say that when Deion always talk about Jerry Rice being the best receiver ever in the NFL, who went to Mississippi Valley State? How can he say that when Deion even acknowledged Doug Williams, who graduated from Grambling? Man, it's just some hate. Hey, you know, he might not be a hater, but he's definitely hating. But go ahead.
Yeah, and Bakari, it may or may not be a line between hating and cooning, but it's cooning born out of hate, though. So I will say that, you know.
He got cachet because of his name.
Okay, the one that did,
but the one
wasn't getting it done.
We ain't worried about nobody else.
That's the issue.
What they tell you, worry about yourself. Don't worry about what nobody else doing. Did they teach you that when you was younger?
Yeah.
Okay then.
I think you would like.
I think you just scared of change, James. That's what.
Bill Gates said he the best of all time.
Yeah, Bill Gates, what position you played so I can go look up your highlights? Like, damn, and he be coming in the chat.
Right, I'll be like, I'm gonna play it on the next video. Like, yo,
Yeah,
my brother Bill.
Video, Bill. Where can I find him?
Or the greatness.
Where you
of
played
Bill
at?
Gates, right?
Virginia Union?
Yeah, I'm actually like close to the Virginia Union campus, like right now. But
It is.
It's just like the other day when he did his interview, and he was like, he don't care about tradition. Like, dude.
But do you know the context of why he was saying it? He went and later explained when he was talking about the Memphis game, right?
Yeah, this is what you was kind of talking about, because I think what you mean when you say you ain't agree with some things he did about. It was you talking about that game he kind of took him out of.
Talking about no. I agree with him stepping away from the Southern Heritage Classic. You know why?
Why? Because
every year it's played in Memphis, the city of Jackson, the businesses in Jackson, the black businesses that would make money never get any money. It's every year. Jackson State is the road team every year. They never get to play at home. So Tennessee State wouldn't come to Jackson. So I agree with him not playing that game anymore.
Okay, yeah. And they're gonna kind of break it down for him.
And he was like, he don't care about tradition. Like, dude.
But do you know the context of why he was saying it? He went and later explained when he was talking about the Memphis game, right? That's what you're talking about. He said, why are we playing these money grabbing games and we coming up here for $350,000 and everybody else getting all this money? We truly selling out just to go play against these Power 5 schools, just to get our ass beat. That's what he's looking at it from. He's not looking at it as Jackson versus Memphis for all these years. He's looking at it as like Jackson State is getting screwed by playing games like this. So if tradition is for us to be screwed, why keep that tradition? That's why he's coming in and changing shit.
But there was them two different comments. That comment was made towards the money, the games, the money that people are getting playing the games when he was actually out base, because the games he was talking about, the people really got paid for was lower FBS schools, the FCS schools around in the ballpark that we around in. He be misinforming people.
Again, he's still
not telling the truth, not telling the whole story. Line are two different things, but they're going down the same path.
Listen, why Jackson is no longer going to Memphis right now.
It's some bullshit.
It's not that Jackson State does not generate enough money for us to keep.
Now you get his argument, right, Bakari?
Well, they have two different arguments, right? The traditional argument, not going to Memphis, I understand that. So this guy, the one guy with the blue do-rag on, he's complaining because they had the arguments confused. When Deion said something about money, because when they go to Memphis, they don't play the University of Memphis. They play Tennessee State, they play another HBCU, but they just never get to play at home. So the money games he's talking about, right? And he compared them. When you find an HBCU, let's say, Hampton go play Virginia Tech, right? And you already know what's gonna happen in that game, right? And Hampton might get $300,000. So what he did was he compared to how those white schools, those at Power 5 schools, pay the white FCS schools. So he said this black school, the most the black school got was $560,000. And he was like, okay, but then he's like 500, 400, look at here, 300, 300, 200. And he said he ain't taking those games. So then he went to schools like, let's just say Idaho and Idaho State, white FCS schools, right? So the white FCS schools, I'm trying to think of one in Virginia. Old Dominion used to be one, right? I think they moved up. They might still be FCS, right? But let's say Old Dominion play Virginia Tech. If Virginia Tech gave Hampton $300,000, they giving Old Dominion $1 million. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Dion was saying. If you're going to play these schools where you know you don't have a chance to win, at least get paid for it. Like I remember, I think Savannah State got $250,000, maybe $300,000. They played Clemson. Clemson beat them 83-0. How can you recruit somebody to come to your school? You getting on the field getting beat 83-0. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what Dion was talking about. They both kind of confusing the argument.
Okay. And yeah, Wanda, Reddit is like, it's like a bunch of like what they would call right-wing white boys on there complaining about the Little Mermaid all day type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is that we doing. But yeah, I feel you, Bakar. I feel you. I'm only gonna play a couple more seconds. I think they're gonna say something positive. I want to end it on something positive.
Doing it. That's what he's talking about. It's like we doing all this stuff just to be doing it because out of tradition when we not really benefit from none of this shit. That's what he's trying
But
to
to say you don't care about the tradition.
He don't. He
don't. You just said what I'm trying to get at.
But he's
it's
trying
not
to
your
improve
place.
it, though.
If I move to New Orleans,
I agree.
and I go somewhere.
Man, I don't care about my job. Ain't to care about the tradition. My job is to get this football team better and make money for this school.
Exactly.
That's my job.
That's why I said we selling out.
No, we not.
Anybody who's the head coach.
No, that was deep, Bakar. That's why he said we selling it. You feel
Say
me?
it again. Make sure I hear that right. I heard him say that's why I say we. Let me hear what them brothers say it again.
No, that was deep, Bakar.
Place. If I move to New Orleans,
I agree.
And I go somewhere.
Yo, what up, Truth 884? My bad, Bakar. I'm gonna play it.
I don't care about my job. Ain't to care about the tradition. My job is to get this football team better and make money for this school. That's my job.
That's why I said we selling out.
No, we not.
Anybody who's the head coach or do something should care about the tradition.
No, the job as the head coach is to win games and make money.
We have had a losing tradition.
Your job as a head coach really to win games.
Actually, like 700 years we had a losing tradition, but I feel him when he said 30 years.
So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Some people want to stay stuck to tradition. Some people want to get away from tradition, right? So let me say this, right? Eating chitlins on Thanksgiving and Christmas was a black folks tradition. Then black folks wised up and realized, now I ain't gonna lie, that pig dookie sack was pretty good. But black people wised up and realized eating these chitlins ain't good for you. You understand what I'm saying? Eating these ham hocks and pig feet and pig knuckles on a consistent basis ain't good for you. So we gonna get away from that tradition of cooking your food. You already frying it, but then you're just completely frying it in pig fat, that lard. That's what lard is. I know you probably heard of lard, right?
Yeah.
That's what lard is. It's just the pig fat. That ain't good for you. So people got away from that tradition. Some traditions it's okay to get away from.
Yeah, chitlins was a little bit easier than the other ones, though, because
Hey man, you just don't know. Man, you fry chitlins.
You better go around the corner and fry them. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me finish this show.
And make no. If
That's
I
an
hire
AD job. This nigga school the mic. Still
Talking to the mic, man. We on the
if I hire
podcast.
you as a head coach,
I want you to win.
win game.
Al was great, but Gremlin was pathetic. Dude, you fucking stupid. Gremlin has never had a huge fan turnout in their history. Why you gotta call him pathetic? And I don't even like Gremlin.
That's his point, though, man.
It's not a school that's built for that, though.
Yes, it is. Gremlin have always been a good team.
Yeah, they are.
Gremlin is the best way.
But he said,
And what can be
and he
moved and what
understands
can
where it can be.
It's not a community. Look at how small that community is. People think our city is small. Our city still, our metro area is 500,000 people.
You gotta think
That community
about it.
is small,
Just Grambling ain't just the. We ain't talking about just the city. You motherfuckers ain't just the city wherever the school is.
Yeah. All right. So Bakari, you can say something, but I had Deion Sanders come on and say his part.
So you know, if you look at most black schools, right? Most black schools is either in a bad area, what people will call the hood today, or out in the country. I remember Grambling one time. Grambling, Louisiana, really was the university and a bus station. But most college towns are small. You understand what I'm saying? Most college towns, most colleges, especially the ones that's good, they're not in big cities for whatever reason. They're not in big cities if you think about it. So what he's saying don't make sense. And I understand what Deion said was like, because see, they're just focusing on Grambling, right? But he said the same thing about FAMU. Because what the score was 21-0. And he said, I forget that Jackson State ended up blowing them out. But I remember what he said at halftime, FAMU just packed up their band, the fans left at the end of the third quarter, packed up their band, nobody even cheering no more. And he was like, you're not supposed to just leave your team there. What, you understand what I'm saying? You're supposed to still continue to support your team. And that's what he was talking about. He said FAMU people are leaving at halftime. All the FAMU fans just left, say they ain't staying support. And he compared it to like when he compared it to like the white universities. Man, they can be getting beat damn near 1,000-0. Just look and see how the fans stay. And that was the point that he was making.
Yeah, I feel you, my brother. I feel you. And yes, Hawanda, she the white boy was definitely down with it, you know what I'm saying? He created it probably for that purpose, you know. I don't know, I can't say that, but it seems like it. But we're gonna let Deion Sanders speak for himself.
See on this show.
Yeah, he died.
You go out, y'all ball out, y'all win. 3 years in a row. Power 5 school come calling. Nick Saban retired. Alabama calling. You know, something happened at Georgia, something happened at Florida.
Alabama give you a guap of money.
Hell,
a gob of money.
The NFL come calling. What you doing?
I'm not doing the NFL. I don't want that.
Okay, so all right. Alabama come calling. Nick Saban retired.
All right, before I play this too, consider you absolutely right. Frying Dookie chitlins, you know what I'm saying?
You boil them first though.
She said, look at Spelman. Hold on. Look at Spelman University in Georgia is in the middle of a project. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, yeah.
Let me say this real quick about that. Pause right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Consider they used to be projects. All the universities, all the HBCUs in Atlanta is what you would used to be and considered a project, right? But you go there now, them ain't projects no more. They got 1 bedroom, 500 square foot loft apartments, studio. It was a studio apartment, 500 square feet for what was it? $200,000. All that area being gentrified. They're expensive condos now. Go ahead, 4K.
Yeah. Truth 884 said to you, yeah, it's beef tallow. I can't think of
what beef tallow is. You know what? I was just about to say his name. He said he can't remember his name. He came
Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, he came to the league Denver Broncos wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall.
Mel came with Chicago, then went to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, my brother, I don't think like that. I don't think down the street because I'm gonna mess around and miss the day, worry about tomorrow. I'm gonna dominate this right here. Which my domination of this is gonna prepare me for tomorrow, but I don't think like that. I don't sit back and say, well, what's gonna happen down the street? I don't work like that with me, with me personally. My team will tell you, I don't look at it like that.
Did you have other options before you went to Jackson
Of
State?
course I did. I always have options.
Power 5.
I always have options.
And chose Jackson State over a Power 5.
Over FAMU?
Excuse me?
What about the fam?
No, Fam got Willie's a great coach.
Okay,
man.
I'm just saying if the opportunity had been there, I'm just saying that would have been like, well, that's my people. I'm just throwing it out there.
What is it about? It wasn't about money. I'm good. It wasn't about
Chad Johnson hating, man. Chad Johnson hating. I'm go to FAMU. my homeboy friend is the coach at FAMU. Chad Johnson let my homeboy friend keep his job. Leave it alone. He good at the Jackson State University. Stop trying to shoot us.
It was about timing and a calling. So the timing of what the world
You
was.
got a Jackson State suit on?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
That's crazy. I ain't never seen a Jackson State suit. I ain't never seen a suit about something either.
Hey, that's Dion. Come on, you know Dion got to be you know Dion. Let me see, Dion and Floyd Mayweather Jr. If they do something, you understand what I'm saying? It's gonna always be done with a little flash. You feel me?
All right.
Good. It was about timing and a calling. So the timing of what the world was saying to, hey man, we got some problems in our country.
Well, let's
That's one
skip
of the
5
reasons.
years ahead. Let's skip 5 years ahead because you know what I mean. Because I can see you go to what's going to happen is you're going to have success and you're going to have Power 5 schools calling you.
Right.
You're going to have decisions to make. You're going to have
And
NFL teams
I'm
calling
gonna
you.
make them.
Okay. So what are you trying to accomplish right now before you have to make those decisions? Like, what is success for you right now?
Success is oftentimes as a coach quantified by wins and losses. It's not that for me because I'm a winner. So I can't quantify by that because I'm not just looking at Jackson for me. I'm going to take that at we're going to win. I'm a big picture type guy. I'm looking at the whole HBCU. How can I get us on national television every darn week? I guarantee you enrollment should be up, not just at Jackson, all HBCUs, the exposure, the NFL calls for these kids, everything we've already, Pepsi deal, we've got shoe contracts, we've got everything that hadn't been done yet. So I look at it as a global thing, not global. I look at it as a national thing. Like we doing a darn documentary right now. So I could share my dream with y'all family and everybody watching. I don't want to just do a documentary on us. We get ready to go play FAM September the 5th. I want to send a camera to y'all, cameras, I'm sorry, plural, for a week. I want to see y'all prepared, see us prepared, then we get it on. Then I want y'all to see it.
Yeah.
I want y'all to see it. Now that's exposure. Now that's buying in, and now you get mentally attached to this kicker or this outside linebacker, and you start saying, I want to see some more of this kid, man. This kid got an interesting story. I like who he is and what he's about. So my stuff is much larger than it appears on paper.
All right.
Hey, can I say something? I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell you. I said Chad Johnson was hating. I'm gonna be honest. If Dion was at FAMU, I would be pulling for him to win, but I would be hating too. I'm like, he could have went to a school in Mississippi. I would be hating. So I would be hating. But yeah, but Chad Johnson, you heard what he say to y'all, because I think Chad Johnson spent a lot of time at FAMU. I don't know if he on the coaching staff or anything like that, but I know he's there.
Yeah, he said those was his peoples.
Yeah, he be there working with the receivers. Did you see that thing on Chad Johnson when they said his net worth was $5 million?
No.
Chad Johnson funny. Chad Johnson says, so what is your net worth? Your house, your car, and your jewelry? He said, well, y'all know I ain't got a lot of jewelry. He said, man, he was talking to somebody. He said, look at my bank account. How they gonna tell me my net worth only $5 million? He said, man, I'm just one of them people that dude said he lived in the Cincinnati Bengals stadium. They got a training stadium. He lived in the stadium for 3 years, so he ain't had to pay no rent or nothing, so he could save his money. So he could save his money. He said none of his jewelry, you see him with a lot of something that look expensive. He said he don't have no $10,000 watch. He said all that stuff. If you see him look like something might cost $10,000, $15,000, he said all that is fake.
Yeah. And Truth 884 said his homegirl works for Clark Morehouse Spelman. She never complained about the campus.
Well, I don't hear nobody complain about the campus, but it is in what they call, what they would consider the hood. It was on the west end of Atlanta. Right off 20. Yeah, it is over there. The area was supposed to be rough, but it's being gentrified now. I used to be there all the time. I go down there now, not to the school campus, just on the west end. I go down there now, and I'm almost confused. They switching so much stuff up down there.
Yeah. He said, oh, it's going back to segregation. Consider. Yeah. And you was talking about that. Consider was talking about that earlier. You know what I'm saying? Yo, she be going in. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to her. She be going in, and you know, like she don't play. But yeah. Wanda says she gonna use a gob of money. She gonna add it to her.
How much is a gob though?
I think in our terms it would be a heap of money.
Yeah, be a heap.
Yeah, in modern terms it would be a gang of money. You know, well, no, it might be more than a gang. So I don't know.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Like all those questions Brandon Marshall asking him, right? I'm quite sure Deion think about going to somewhere bigger. You feel me? It's natural to think about it. But just because you think about it, that don't mean you're going to take it. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you look up Dave Whitney Sr., he was the coach of Alcorn State University basketball team, the first HBCU to ever win a game, 2 games actually, in the NCAA tournament. You know, I had to give them a shout out because that was the team I liked the best. But anyway, when they were winning, matter of fact, the year, I want to say Indiana won with Isaiah. I know at one of the years Indiana won the national championship, and they were talking to their coach, Bob Knight, after the tournament. And Bob Knight was like, the best team we played in the tournament was Alcorn State. They did no justice by having us, because they beat Alcorn by 5 points. Everybody else they beat by at least double digits. And he was like, it was not fair to them. Well, anyway, he turned down schools like Missouri. He turned down big schools to stay at Alcorn State because he said it wasn't about the money. It was something that he wanted to do. Man, look, don't get mad because I forget his name. The peanut guy down at Tuskegee. The black dude who did all that stuff with them plants. I can't ever. Oh my God, I always forget his name. Come on, y'all, somebody put his name in the chat. And forgive me for getting his name.
Don't help Bakari out.
Forgive me for getting his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He turned down
Carver.
Yeah, he turned down money. If you read his story, he turned down money to go to big white universities to stay at Tuskegee. Because that was his mission. Do that stuff probably crossed their mind. I'm quite sure it crossed their mind. You understand? But just because it crossed your mind, that don't mean you're going to do it. It's just natural for something bigger to cross your mind. You feel me? That's my thinking anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wanda said Deion got some ideas plus for a better future for us. Chew the meat, spit out the bones. Amen. You know, our locker rooms are notorious for just deal with it and play. You know, so yeah, you're absolutely right about that part. You know, but yeah, like I was saying, like, you know, like the title is like, yo, friend or foe, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, is what Deion Sanders doing friend, or, you know, is he a foe? Like the brother who was making all those. Who's saying you're gonna be a coon in about 5 years? Because that's what he calling Bakari. Now, if you're a coon, you're gonna have to apologize for whatever you say right now. Just think about it.
Well, that's a cool. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, right? I saw people on Facebook, some people I knew from the time I was little, a couple of them. Dion took a picture with this old white Republican who came to, I forget what her position is, political office. She came to the school to visit, right? She a senator, something like that for Mississippi, congressman. She came to visit, because Dion there, and took a picture, and everybody mad. He taking that picture, that let you know he ain't for us, right? So, but then I talked to some people who know politics, right? Because people can say what they want. If you at your job and the senator or the congressman come, you're going to speak to the senator or the congressman. They're just, you understand what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But what some people down there that understand politics was telling me, it was like, they don't understand Dion got a plan. And since Dion has been there, I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, when he said what he's doing, it ain't just for Jackson State, it's for HBCUs. Since Dion has been there, you should see the stuff and everything that's coming in his city and the areas that they are putting them in. Now, I think we need to get down there while stuff coming, because it ain't just Dion. Like I said, the young black lady, the first tech school, first black-owned tech school, is going to be right there in Jackson, Mississippi, just a couple of miles from Jackson State campus. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's a wave that's going on right now. They creating a movement, and what they're doing in certain areas is great. And I don't get that. It's like people waiting on Dion to leave. I'm waiting on Dion to win. I'm waiting on Dion to play one of these schools from this Power 5 conference and beat them. That's what I'm waiting. I ain't waiting on him to leave. I'm waiting on Dion to shock the world. I agree with that. Truth, that A4. Doing what you can when you can for your people. Yeah. And that's what Dion is doing right now. Go ahead, Forecast.
All right, and before we go past the Deion Sanders thing, I'm gonna play one more thing for Deion Sanders as we go past this thing. Hold on.
Well, all right. Yeah. You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Those things changed for the better and for the worse. So I called my mama and she said, baby, must be the money. Yeah. Must be the money. It's got to be, because I got people wanting to be my friends. People I never thought about association. Must be the money. I don't know what it is. Talk to me. Check it.
All right, yeah, Bakari.
Hey, it must be the money, a whole gob of it. Hey, let me say this right quick before you move past Dion. See, I'm gonna show y'all something. When we hear people say, and I know I'm the only one who say they shouldn't. I ain't gonna say I'm the only one, but I hear a lot of people say this. When you hear people say, we don't need no more football players, we don't need no more basketball players, we can't discredit the ones that went and made money or using a position or whatever it is they can use and go back and help. Dion played professional baseball and football at the same time. But look where he at now. It may have taken him a while to get to that mentality, because I heard him talking about it. I heard him say, there was stuff going on, and he met David Banner. Because they say when him and David Banner became cool, he said he had been going to Jackson, hanging with David Banner for at least a couple of years before he ever got that job offer. You feel me? So what he doing, he using his position. He's using his position to help. We need more of them to do it. But when we see them doing it, we can't discredit them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you on that. And I would also say, encourage people, also children, to want to create their own leagues and let them know, if there was a Negro League, we don't have to just give it up to, for something else. You know what I'm saying? We need the players, the owners, the writers. We need all the people to stay in their lane. And just the mentality that we do it with. Like Truth 884, I think it depends on doing what you can or when you can for your people. You know what I'm saying? But how you do it, you know what I'm saying? It's the mentality that you do it with that makes all the difference in the world, I think, you know. All right, so
you know what? And I absolutely agree with that, but I'm gonna say something, right? Do y'all remember when TV One first came out about 17 years ago? Evander Holyfield, what the Jackson brother name who got the hair slicked down on his head? Jermaine, and it was like 3 more black men that got that station. See how Dion is fighting for TV rights? You understand? You know really what they say one of the purposes of getting TV One, starting that station, you know what it was for? So they had 2 HBCU football games on every Saturday, and they showed HBCU basketball on that channel. People didn't support it. I remember one time people came to my house having a fight party. Before the fight party, the game was on. Fam, you was playing somebody. Wasn't Jackson State. I forget who they was playing. People trying to get me to turn to Miami in Florida State. I said, man, you're going to have to go home. Man, don't nobody want to watch that. Well, you at my house. I'm somebody who want to watch it. Or you can come back when the fight come on, because I'm going to watch HBCU football. And it was there. See, a lot of people don't remember that channel came out. Might have been 20 years ago when they first started. I can't even remember. And it may have not been called TV One, but it's the same channel. And they shut it down because people weren't supporting it. But then it came back showing some news, showing old shows, and people began to support it. But people were not watching HBCU football. Some of it don't look right, don't, because they don't have as many cameras. They might be able to afford 5 cameras, while the other Power 5 schools might have 20 cameras. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, all of this stuff, you know, but all of that's going to continue to grow. And really, it's just about where the talent goes, because all of those schools wouldn't have it if the talent didn't go there. And we know what we say when we mean talent. You know, we know who the most talented people is, but I guess that would be racist if I say that, right?
Yeah,
But
so TV One should be reaching out to Dion right now. She'll be reaching out not to Dion, reaching out to the SWAC officials and the MEAC officials, so they can, you know what, we're gonna start doing Saturday game. You own this station, right? So therefore, we don't have to beg ESPN to put us on a channel. The channel that we own, let's be on TV One. And maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what the people out here need to do. We need to bombard TV One with letters and phone calls. Y'all need to reach out and start showing HBCU football, so we don't have to beg ABC, because that's who on ESPN. So we don't have to beg Fox. So we don't have to beg CBS. We got our channel, and then when they see that we're actually supporting it, then they come begging. But you never leave your contract with TV One because they want you there. But that's what we need to do. Do that sound like a good idea?
yeah, definitely sound like a good idea. Truth 884 said he went without TV for a minute. He caught a game like a year or 2 ago. They was playing the games on TV last year. Like, I'll be honest, I never really watched you know, college football, but I would definitely like watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would turn it on even if I didn't watch it. You know, not that I got anything against football. I just never got into college football. You know, but I would definitely support it. And yeah, that's a great. You're supposed to do, like, that's how you network as far as your, like, I understand maybe he's not looking at it like, you know, the way we would look at it, like, yo, let's find the black, you know, channels. You know, he's looking at, let's find the biggest channels, you know. But like, yo, that's important to have that mindset, you know, also. But, you know, that's why it's going to be important to instill that in our children. And if we at least got to start at the HBCUs to control the curriculum, and then, you know, create our own schools so that we can control the curriculum, so that we can understand all of this. Truth 884 said, I think they also want to get advertising so they can get that money. Yeah. He said, Wanda said, he's leading the way. Yes, somebody needs to do it for us. It's time. He does want TV coverage and pay just like the other schools are getting coins for theirs too.
And that's right. So that's why you go to the black stations. They play a TV One because BET ain't black owned no more. And we go to the black station. They play it. So now when the other people come, but we're going to still stay with TV One, but y'all can show us too. So instead of having one game on at 1 o'clock, we can have 2 games on at 1 o'clock. You understand what I'm saying? See,
Yeah,
and that's what we need to do, right? So when that guy was talking about, I'm gonna rewind right quick. When the guy was talking about HBCU and Deion is an outsider, right? I was hoping he'd say this, right? I want everybody to know, back in the day, 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Do y'all know what school got the most players in history ever taken in the first round? Jackson State University, an HBCU. They had 11 players. Somebody might be in past it now. I got to go check and see.
What, last year?
No, I'm saying back in the day when black people used to go to HBCUs, black people got drafted from HBCUs.
Yeah, they're going to get the best players. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a lot of Africans that go to. There's a lot, and that's something I didn't know until I was telling this one lady. I say, my son go to Jackson State. She's Nigerian. She was like, her son loved Jackson State. That's where he graduated. That's where he got his bachelor's from. And then come to find out, there's a lot of brothers and sisters from the continent that go to HBCUs. There's a lot of them. They want to go to the HBCUs. Matter of fact, my daughter, one of her best friends, she want to go to HBCU. Her dad is trying to talk her into going to Harvard. But a lot of them, and she's Nigerian, but it's a lot of them that go to HBCUs. What's up, Queen Raw?
Yeah, what up, Raw? Shout out to my sister Raw. And Wanda said TV coverage will make excelling players' dreams come true. Yes, we could talk to the powers with letters, calls, word of mouth support. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't cost money. You don't need to take time. You can take time to write a letter, but you can call up there, any of that. Anything that it's like whatever we want to do. But we're gonna go to the next one because there's only one more thing that I'm gonna talk about, then we're gonna get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But it was another video, and I'm not gonna try to drag it out or nothing. But like with this Harriet Tubman thing, because I also called it, critical theory, you know what I'm saying? Now I may be wrong, but this may be like where it is, because there was a movement to kind of discredit Harriet Tubman by, some European dudes, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because there was some interesting stuff. And y'all saw that video earlier with the Yes Master trend or whatever, with the black girls. They had the Wade in the Water music playing, so it's some interesting stuff that I wanted to show, interesting to me. So y'all remember I told y'all, right? Harriet Tubman held Ida B. Wells' infant son in 1896, you know what I'm saying? And this is the book, that documents a lot of the stuff that she went through, that she was living during this time, you know what I'm saying? And they were saying she was an inspiration. And when she came to this, the National Association of Colored Women, the first meeting in 1896, all of them loved her or whatever. And she held Ida B. Wells' kid or whatever. Now, the dude who wrote the book, and most of the stuff, when you look at history, most of the books written about particular events or people or whatever, most of them is white authors who capital. And I got a problem with that, low key, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm a hater here, you know what I'm saying? But I got a problem with them capitalizing and making money off of our stories, our deaths, you know what I'm saying, our bloodshed, and they're using it to prosper off of, not to make better, not to do anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But, so the white boy made, a bunch of things. So this is about debunking famous myths about Harriet Tubman, you know what I'm saying? And this was before any of our people was doing this. This was like years ago, you know what I'm saying? Years ago. But I think the dude wrote this book in like 2007 or something, you know what I'm saying? But he's not talking about the book, but he's talking about some of the myths, and he probably got it from this book, probably, you know.
Slave and abolitionist, and
Bukhari, you can jump in anytime, you know.
Someone who led other escaping slaves to their freedom along the Underground Railroad. But much of what is known about her is untrue. Her exploits have been exaggerated over the years for political purposes. Some of the exaggerations began even during her own lifetime. She is credited, if that is the word, with gathering escaped slaves in Canada to join John Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry.
Now, my man said, if that is the, you know what I'm saying, you heard him, like, hold on, let me run it back for
with gathering escaped slaves in Canada to join John Brown, if that is the word, with during her own lifetime. She is credited, if that is the word, with...
So we can't even give her the word credited with helping black people go join some white boy. Now, I want y'all to realize, how many times have y'all ever heard somebody say John Brown was fake? Well, I said it, you know what I'm saying, besides me, exclude me. How many times have y'all heard somebody say Harriet Tubman was fake? You know what I'm saying?
A heap of time.
A gob of times. You know what I'm saying?
A gob.
A gob. Yeah, that's what I said, a gob.
I said, you right?
Yeah, a gob of times, you know. Oh yeah, I thought you were saying I was saying it wrong, my bad. But Bukhari, what is John Brown famous for?
They say he helped some slaves. That's what they say, and he got hung. But ain't no proof of John Brown existed. That's what they say. And if that's what he did, they leave out part of the story, how he felt black people was beneath him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, most abolitionists was like, it's like
yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll wait till you finish. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, it's like, you know how those like there are liberals today, you know what I'm saying, who don't want to see the system destroyed, but may not want to see somebody get nailed on the neck. You know what I'm saying? Now they are like, you know, well, these Negroes do all of this crime and stuff like this, but you know, you shouldn't sit on their neck for 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? But they are Negroes. I get that part, you know. It's the same kind of racism, but theirs was 10 times because they felt like we wasn't human, you know, but it's just slavery was wrong, you know, to them, I think.
Yeah, that was the Quakers.
It was more than, it was the Quakers.
Now, see, I'm gonna tell you something. When you think abolitionists, just be honest, maybe not you, what most people think when they think of an abolitionist. The abolitionist is what, white, right?
Yeah.
I want black people to hear me. There were way more black abolitionists than white. Way more. If you don't believe me, just look it up. So when they go to talking about the white abolitionists that did this to save you, it was way more black abolitionists than white abolitionists. And a lot of those white abolitionists kept indentured servants. You understand? I'm gonna give you an example how you could know. Anybody ever seen that movie Halle Berry Queen? You ever seen that?
No.
Okay, if anybody ever seen that movie, right? When Halle Berry got free, supposedly, she was at some abolitionist house and she was serving. She had to go ask permission because she going to town. So the guy who was there with the abolitionists was like, I thought when they came here they was free. He was like, well, it's better to be here than it is to being enslaved, but we do have to control them to make sure they're okay.
Yeah. Yo, and let me say this because we only a few seconds in, so I don't want to get through this, you know what I'm saying? But like with John Brown, I'm not even saying that this person didn't exist. I'm going, let's just say this person existed, like a lack of evidence, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no John Brown t-shirt, like jackets that exist or nothing like that. But he exists, okay, we're there. But like, yo, most people was like, yo, he killed to help black people escape or whatever. The first thing, you know, does anybody have proof that the dude killed anybody?
None whatsoever.
All right. You know, now most people don't know, like John Brown did it twice, you know what I'm saying? And that was this mentality, because I don't know if people will tell you about the Bacon's Rebellion, you know what I'm saying? Where this white boy, he was like, yo, he united white people and black people to go against the throne. Well, no, this dude was rich, you know what I'm saying? He came from England. He wanted in on the government, but they wouldn't let him in, you know what I'm saying? So he got mad and tried to round up as many people as they could, you know what I'm saying? Now, like, they was doing race-based stuff way before then, because that was in the 1680s, and they was already saying if you was a black woman, then your kid is a slave by then, you know what I'm saying? But John Brown is similar to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would round up people to like do whatever, like he was trying to have like his own kind of like whatever, you know. And most of the people, he had a bunch of white people, and there was a few black people that fought. And there was a movie about one of them, Emperor Green, like Shields Green, it's called Emperor. And it's an alright movie, but it's not real, you know what I'm saying? Because he died, you know, and they made it seem like he lived. But John Brown actually did this twice, and he got a bunch of black people killed, like a bunch of black people killed. And they let him go the first time because he was white, you know what I'm saying? They let him go. And then, you know, then they had the raid on Harper's Ferry, you know what I'm saying? Now, it was amazing that, you know what I'm saying, he was able to get taken alive. Like, how many of these people, when did they actually kill during the Harper's Ferry, Bakari?
I don't even know, man. I don't know how many people they killed.
I don't know either, Bakari.
I thought you was about to tell me, man, because I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a number out there, but I'm not gonna help them find it. They got
you have never heard. Back to your original question, I already answered. I've never heard nobody other than you. John Brown was fake.
Right.
John Brown was black.
Nah, he was a straight white dude, because he wouldn't be John Brown if he was black. Let's be real. He'd just be not real, you know. But all right.
Hey, look, and not only was he white, this is another thing that made black people get so good out about it. He was a hook-nosed, bagel-eating Jew. See, when you ever hear somebody that name Brown, a white person with that name Brown, they Jew. Brown is a Jew name.
So all the colors Jew names?
I don't know about all the colors, but I know Brown. When you see a person with the name Brown, that's a Jew name. And you know how they try to act like they really weren't involved in the slave trade other than being the shipbuilders. They even try to act like they didn't have nothing to do with that, right? Think about this. How many black people do you know have you seen with the last name Brown?
I wonder why they keep getting kicked out of countries for like thousands of years. I don't know. Well, that's a whole nother topic, but yeah, that's true. But let's get to the points he was trying to debunk, Harriet Tubman.
Gathering escaped slaves in Canada to join John Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry, Virginia in 1859, for example. Yet Brown's raiding force included just 5 blacks, only one of whom was a former slave. None were from Canada. Her exploits were exaggerated.
Which was the dude, Emperor Green, they made a movie about, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily about what you think it was. If you actually research John Brown, and they always use that kind of stuff. They try to tell you Thomas Jefferson was against slavery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you talking about TJ?
TJ was against slavery, bro. Like,
you talking about TJ?
Right. The dude who was raping a little girl who he enslaved. And he was against slavery. Well, you know, we got to let both sides tell history. So, you know. Man, so listen, her exploits were exaggerated by abolitionists in the North who found Tubman useful.
By abolitionists in the North who found Tubman useful in forwarding their own work. Various claims of substantial rewards offered for her capture, some of them with the stipulation dead or alive, can be found today, though.
Now, if you notice, they do try to tell you, they do throw in there about like how white abolitionists and all of this stuff. They're trying to make it seem like how liberals do today, which is kind of true, how Democrats do today. Like, they use these people for their own political gains. That's what abolitionists are, you know what I'm saying? White abolitionists, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, some people may not want to see somebody get shot down by the police, but do they believe that you are equal to them? That's a different question, you know what I'm saying? Because some people feel like even the lowest of the lowest scum don't deserve this treatment. But you can rot in jail, and we can, you know, we can be your save you savages from the trees and stuff. You know what I'm saying? At least you ain't praying to a tree right now, Bakari, right?
Exactly. And I got all this technology.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so all right.
No contemporaneous evidence of such found Tubman useful in forwarding their own work. Various claims of substantial rewards offered for a capture, some of them with the stipulation dead or alive, can be found today, though no contemporaneous evidence of such rewards have ever been found. The only provable bounty ever offered to her was $100 for her return as an escaped slave. Her illiteracy rendered her...
All right, so well, there you have. There is something that shows a woman named, her name was Arminta Green Minty. You know, she was escaped slave, and there was something published in newspapers about her.
They're incapable of recording
Now,
her own story,
listen,
though.
Listen to what this white boy say about her right now.
Was $100 for her return as an escaped slave. Her illiteracy rendered her incapable of recording her own story, though she told it to interviewers, family, and friends, with it changing often as the years went by. Today,
now he's trying to say that Harriet Tubman herself was changing her story. Now I don't know how the hell he knew that, you know what I'm saying? But he's saying the story she was telling her family, friends, and reporters was different. Now I don't know where he get that from, you know what I'm saying? So it's 10 myths. We're going to try to get through as many as we can, as fast as we can.
The veracity of 10 common myths about Harriet Tubman. Reported that Tubman wrote letters to Jackson and that he maintained a safe house on his property, a stop on the Underground Railroad. Jackson was suspected by slave owners in the area of assisting in the flight of runaway slaves, and his house was frequently visited by...
Now this was a black abolitionist, you know what I'm saying, they're talking about.
Self-appointed inspectors, which made it too dangerous as a temporary stop for runaways. Jackson's role in the Tubman saga was as a messenger, relaying the time appointed by Tubman for slaves to begin their escapes. Neither Jackson nor Tubman could read or write, making communication by letter rather difficult. Tubman dictated her instructions to accomplices in the North, and the letter was delivered to Jackson by men who had to read it to him. The arrangement meant that communications had to be made in a manner understood only by two of them, since...
Now, his claim was that she didn't actually write letters to him and whatever, but you know, as you see here, he had to go back and say, well, no, they actually had to read these letters, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to say that they wasn't like working together, like he was making some kind of white boy claim. I forgot.
Letter would be read aloud, usually by the same inspectors who were already suspicious of Jackson. On one occasion, Jackson conveyed the message from Harriet to her brothers to meet her at an appointed time and place, after which she led them to freedom in Pennsylvania. Number 9, myth. Harriet Tubman traveled...
Now listen, he just corroborated the story about her taking her brothers and stuff to freedom, and she going back to meet somebody.
Meet her at an appointed time and place, after which she led them to freedom in Pennsylvania. Number 9, myth. Harriet Tubman traveled all over the South to lead slaves to freedom. There is a widespread belief that Harriet Tubman traveled all over the pre-war South, leading hundreds of slaves to freedom in the North, with many of them traveling all the way to Canada. While many escaped slaves did travel to Canada.
Now, I will say, I didn't never hear nobody be like, oh, all over the South. People say that Harriet Tubman went back, and most people say they get her family. I ain't never heard them say all of that. Harriet Tubman was in Maryland because you know what? Slavery was in the North, y'all. Guess what? You like that? Because that's the myth he should be debunking, that the North was all peace loving and stuff.
That the North was free.
Right. Because yeah, so he's debunking their own dumb arguments here. You know what I'm saying? Because she was in Maryland. Nobody ever said she was all over anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They say she went back to get people and took them to freedom, which was true. Right.
Let me give you the example so folks can know that slavery was legal in the North. All them slave ships coming into Boston, coming in New York, right? How would slaves be free? How would you be shackled up and sold if it's illegal for you to be a slave there? You see what I'm saying? It was just more slaves down south, because down south had land and had it. You understand what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah. And Wanda, yeah, you know, that's true. I'm just saying, like, how many people did they kill? Like, how many people did John Brown actually kill? And supposedly his son got killed in that raid, you know what I'm saying? Which is, hey, you know, it is what it is. But if it was especially, I don't know, we passed that though. So we're going to go to the Harriet thing.
Due to the existence of the Fugitive Slave Act, those led to freedom by Tubman came from Maryland. She made 13 individual trips to Maryland's Eastern Shore, from which she helped about 70 slaves.
Now they're trying to say, oh, they exaggerated what she did. She made 13 trips to rescue people from slavery. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he already said it, but they're trying to say they exaggerated the number. Now, this is what he says.
Maryland's Eastern Shore, from which she helped about 70 slaves escape to freedom.
Now, how many people has went back to slavery more than 3 or 4 times, Bukhari?
I don't know.
I don't know. She went 13 times according to this dude who's saying she exaggerated, who's trying to debunk her. And she helped 70 people escape to freedom. Now, see, what he don't realize is, right, how in the hell would he know how many people she helped? You know how many people that went missing that, that may not be credited to what she did, you know what I'm saying? Or that is not recorded or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even know, like, the half of it. He thinks he could understand certain things that he can't understand, you know what I'm saying? Certain things that a person run away from slave wouldn't necessarily divulge to people. Like, he was trying to say, oh, well, no, they didn't just write letters. They communicated through messages. And often, even though they knew they was going to be raided, they used certain codes in those messages. So only they would know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just be like, yo, meet me at the river at, you know what I'm saying, at dusk or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You would have to say blah, 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 because guess what? You're a fugitive, you know? But, all right.
Of them were family and friends. Those numbers were given by Tubman herself to her biographer, Sarah Bradford. It was the abolitionist newspapers of the day, and later those northern newspapers which supported the Lincoln administration's goal of ending slavery, which inflated both the number of trips Harriet made and the number of slaves she led to freedom as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Scenes in the Life of Harriet Tubman, 1869, was followed by a second work by Bradford.
I missed that, my bad.
Freedom as a conductor on the which inflated both, and later those given by Tubman herself.
Now,
Tubman
listen.
came from Maryland. She made 13 individual trips to Maryland's Eastern Shore, from which she helped about 70 slaves escape to freedom. Most of them were family and friends. Those numbers were given by Tubman.
So yeah, that's accurate that she actually went back to go help her family and friends, like most people out here say. Now, listen, those numbers were given by Tubman herself to her biographer, Sarah Bradford.
Herself to her biographer, Sarah Bradford. It was the abolitionist newspapers of the day, and later those northern newspapers which supported the Lincoln administration's goal of ending slavery, which inflated both the number of trips Harriet.
By the way, right. I was about to stop it right there, Bukhari. You can say it if you want to. But.
That's the myth they need to be debunking. Abraham Lincoln wanted to end slavery. Nah. That's a myth, because that's a lie.
Yo, he told a general who was going around wrecking house and people just happened to get free. I ain't gonna say he was freeing people, but Lincoln sent him a message like, yo, stop freeing these people because we might get the Southerners on our side, you know what I'm saying, if you stop freeing them, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. And you know that there's a story of a woman in Richmond, Virginia, right? When he came here after the war, after they destroyed the city, the South burned the city down, you know, and it was women that called him the Black Jesus or Moses or something. And there was a bunch of Black people cheering him as he walked through. That's the story. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know.
Made and the number of slaves she led to freedom as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Scenes in the Life of Harriet Tubman, 1869, was followed by a second work by Bradford, Harriet, the Moses of Her People, 1886. The two works are the source of many of the myths which exist about Tubman today.
Now they're saying the stuff she said about her own mouth is the reason for the myth. So now their scholars are going to debunk the life that she actually lived, because all of her life was recorded as a fugitive and a wanted person, you know what I'm saying? But, a scholarly biography in 1947 here.
Scholarly biography about Tubman did not appear until 1947, though there were numerous children's books written about her before then. Number 8. Myth. She used the quilt code to follow the Underground Railroad. The idea of escaping slaves using...
Now, have you ever heard of this, Bukhari, the quilt code?
No, I've never heard of the quilt code. In all honesty, I haven't.
Now they're saying they use quilts and stuff to stitch in like signals and like patterns and just signals to let people know what was up. You know what I'm saying? Like say if you had a place and it's a safety place, but you don't want to just put it in the wire, you will have a sign in your window or by the door or something. And the people down with our movement, Black First, you know, Team Black, well, oh yeah, I know this is a safe place for Team Black. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they will use it for this reason, you know what I'm saying? And you know, Black people, how we are with our stuff, you know what I'm saying? You just know how we do it, you know. So listen to what he's trying to say though.
Slaves using a code displayed by hanging quilts which delivered instructions on when and where to move did not emerge until 1998 when it was presented in the book Hidden in Plain View, A Secret Story of Quilts and the Underground Railroad. The theory was overwhelmingly dismissed by historians and scholars, citing lack of documented evidence, lack of contemporaneous evidence, and the fact that no quilts can.
Now, they're saying this didn't happen because these fugitive people trying to help other fugitive people didn't document it down. They didn't talk about it to other white people. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't documented by white because the stories given to you by the Black people themselves aren't good enough. But because no white people knew what they meant or if they was really signals, this can't possibly be true, right? Man.
Containing the designs cited by the book's authors have ever been found. Probably the single biggest reason to dismiss the idea of Harriet Tubman following the quilt code is that neither she nor any of the slaves she helped to escape ever mentioned it themselves. Harriet navigated her way through her knowledge of the Eastern Shore, which she developed during her.
And I'm not saying people took their time just to stitch in codes and stuff like that, but yo, don't think that people didn't use signals. Like, what do you think they do? Like when they put stuff on their uniforms, like yo, those are like patches and signals that you use to signal things. You know what I'm saying? Like you use different forms of communication when you have to, because you can't just be in the open with it. You know what I'm saying? And these are forms of communication that could be very useful even now, you know what I'm saying? Like certain signals and languages, you know what I mean? Like, see, like they're trying to conflate it and try to make it something spooked out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they made whole stitches pointing to way to freedom and saying, yo, meet me here at like, go to John Collins' house at 1623 North Avenue in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they do that, you know?
Youth and through contact with trusted fellow conductors and supporters of the Underground Railroad. She avoided contact with those people who are unknown to her. Most of her contact with others was direct, necessary because written messages were meaningless to her, as they were to most of the slaves she helped escape. She relied on several of the subterfuges of someone in hiding, including wearing disguises, accepting the help of others who gave shelter, and relying on their guidance to elude slave catchers. Number 7. Myth. She had a $40,000 bounty on her head for her capture, dead or alive. To date, no evidence of any bounty in any amount being offered for the capture of Harriet Tubman has been found. The slave owners of the region had no reason to suspect that the enslaved scave they knew as Minty Ross was helping others escape. There was a reward for Minty Ross, as well as for her 2 brothers, but it was for their return to slavery, and it was offered if they were recaptured outside of Maryland. Eliza Brodes, their owner, offered $100 for each of them. The oft-repeated amount of $40,000.
I don't know if that's true or not, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
$1,000 offered for Tubman cannot be called an exaggeration. It was simply a lie created for effect. Sarah Bradford included a lesser amount in her work on Tubman, claiming that it was $12,500, and that when Tubman was asked about the amount of $40,000, she replied that she had not heard of it being that much. Bradford included it anyway, along with opining that it could have been much more. A reward of that amount, equivalent to over $500,000 in today's money, would likely have been reported in every newspaper in the country, but it wasn't. Number 6. Myth. She sang numerous songs as signals. The myth that Tubman sang certain songs as signals grew over the...
Now, if you recall earlier, we were just having these Yes Master challenges, you know what I'm saying, where they was talking about weight in the water. Now, he's going to tell you that Black people... Now, Bakari, you let me know, because I could be wrong about all of this stuff. I'm just going by... because they're debunking their own information, though. But... did Black people use like songs and like codes and songs and stuff like that?
I heard them talking about what was it? Wade in the water. Had some song about the the Big Dipper. They call it the drinking gourd, supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah. You think that's real?
Do I think they did? Yeah, they probably did that. African people communicated that way. They communicated that way. So yeah, I believe that.
All right.
For the decades, as oral histories passed down by succeeding generations were subject to changing memories and family traditions. She did sing upon approaching rendezvous points as a means of signaling to those escaping that it was
So the thing that he's debunking, if you notice that everything he's debunking, well, yeah, she actually did do it, but you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is true. Yeah, Bukhari, they did use messages because why would they just, were they just going to walk out there in the broad daylight and just walk on up to the north? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he talking about?
Time to move. She told Sarah Bradford which songs she sang, listing only two, Bound for the Promised Land and Go Down Moses. Those two.
Now, I don't know, like she told them to her. I wouldn't have told her none, you know. I wouldn't question her Tubman at all, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, you know. But I'm just saying I wouldn't have told her any of those songs, you know. And then they really be saying it's fake though, you know.
Should be enough, but those choosing to mythologize Tubman use other spirituals as replacements for the songs that Tubman and her chargers would have known. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot was written.
Now, Bukhari, let me ask you this, right? When you talk about like, because I don't really think people equate that necessarily with Harriet Tubman. So like, I don't know what he's trying to debunk here. I think he's trying to say that she made up spirituals or something. I don't know what he's trying to debunk.
I don't get what he's trying to debunk either.
Yeah, I think he's trying to say, I don't know, you know, this is white boy logic here, you know. Well, people, that don't have nothing to do with Harriet Tubman because people use signals and songs and stuff. And Harriet Tubman didn't create the Underground Railroad. She made it famous, you know what I'm saying, as Black people do. But it was created before she was even born, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think nobody makes that claim. I don't know what he's talking about.
In Oklahoma's Indian Territory circa 1865 by a Choctaw of the name Wallace Willis. Willis, a former slave, did not read music. The song was transcribed by Alexander Reed, a minister. Following the Drinking Gourd, which refers to the Big Dipper, may have been a song known at the time. It was first published in 1928, but Tubman herself did not refer to it in her story to Bradford. The legend of using the song developed on another route of the Underground Railroad and later became absorbed into Tubman's story. Number 5. Myth.
I don't think anybody includes that with her story. Maybe they included it in the movie, I think. I don't know what he's talking about. All right, Arminta was her true African name. Who has ever said that? People call her Harriet Tubman, first of all. They don't even say Arminta was her African name. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that my name is not my African name. You know what I'm saying? And in a way it could be because, you know, my mom gave me the name, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't from an African construct, but an African person gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? And the African person maybe gave it to her. I don't know. But I don't know what he's saying. Arminta was her true name.
Araminta was her true African name. Araminta was the name bestowed upon her by her parents, and she was known in the vicinity where she grew up and later from which she helped slaves escape as Minty Ross, Minty being a diminutive of Araminta. Araminta was not an African name, but a common name for women, especially Puritans in North America and England for many years. Today, it's relatively...
So the Puritans, those self-righteous people that was trying to put down, because they different. People don't realize, you know, the Pilgrims in the North and the 13 colonies was like different at the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? The Pilgrims in the North was even because they was like they said for religious persecution, but come on, let's be real, you know. They got kicked out of England and all that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? That's why they sent their prisoners. Those was these so-called Puritans, and the Pilgrims was all of these righteous stuff talking about the Bible, and they was the first ones to legalize enslaving selling children, you know what I'm saying? In Massachusetts, I think. Massachusetts was the first state here that legalized selling children. So he should have debunked that one.
rare. It was common enough in the 19th century that Mark Twain used it as one of the names for Tom Sawyer's cousin in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Minty Ross, as she was known, adopted the name Harriet Tubman, with the surname being that of her husband for a time, John Tubman. She'd continued to be called Minty by family and friends. She appeared, or rather some of her exploits appeared, as Harriet Tubman in the abolitionist newspapers of the North. She could not use her real name for fear of retaliation against family members still enslaved back in Maryland.
Now that makes sense, doesn't it, Bukhari? That she would change her name so that the people, and if she get found out, that they can't use it against her family.
Yeah, that make a whole lot of sense.
Right. So she wasn't all so spooked out here. And by the way, you know, for them to debunk this person, she would have to be real, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
4. Myth. She was forced to marry John Tubman. In the Maryland of the 1850s, about half of the black population was free, though slavery remained legal in the state. John Tubman was a free man when he married Minty Ross sometime around 1844. Such an arrangement was fairly common in Maryland. Slaves required the permission of their owners to marry a free person. When Tubman married Ross, he freely surrendered the rights to any children issuing from the marriage. They would...
Oh, man. You know why? Because if you had a child with a black woman and a slave woman, which was a black woman, then that child was considered free, because perpetual means forever, and it never ended. I'm telling you right now, you know.
Under the law, become the property of Minty's owner. It was following the marriage to Tubman that Araminta changed her name to Harriet. Harriet left her husband behind when she escaped from slavery, returning some years later to find him living with another family, happily remarried. He had no desire nor intention of fleeing to the north with Harriet, and as a free man, he could have left long before. Harriet, on a later trip, left with a girl she claimed was her niece, but who may in fact have been her daughter with John Tubman. Harriet...
All right, so I do hear sometimes people saying he was a slave and he didn't want to run away, but everybody say he got remarried and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he was free. I don't agree with him remarrying like that, but like, you know, but yeah, there you have it. So most of the stuff that we talk about actually talk, because he's debunking stuff that nobody says, you know what I'm saying? And then other things he's just wrong about, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's kind of confirming like everything that we say about Harriet Tubman here.
Remarried in New York after the Civil War, and John Tubman faded from the scene. Her marriage with Tubman was not forced upon her by either he or her owner. Number 3. Myth. Tubman had 11 brothers and sisters. Harriet Tubman was born to Harriet, known as Rit.
Yo, that's another thing. They don't even know, like, bro, like, yo, and they're gonna bring up something later, Bukhari, because you know, remember how we talked about how sometimes even people in the 1900s, early 1900s didn't know their age or what year they was born. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yo, they're gonna bring up that, you know.
And Ben Ross, although the exact location of her birth is uncertain. Rit was a cook for the Brodas family. Ben was a timberman and a woodsman held by Anthony Thompson, who owned a nearby plantation. Together, Ben and Rit had 9 children, including Araminta. Araminta eventually had 4 brothers, 3 of which were younger than her, and 4 sisters. When she was young, her 3 eldest sisters were sold by their owner Edward Brodas, and Minty lost all contact with them. Her father was frequently absent, managing the timbering operations on Thompson's plantation, and her mother was too busy with her work in the Brothers' home to spend much time with her own family. Minty was required to care for her younger siblings until she was hired out as a babysitter, when she was, according to...
Pause. Did that man say one of the brothers or somebody was too busy managing something on the plantation
to spend time with her?
Rewind it back a little bit.
Man.
She mentioned 2. Go yeah, right. Let's see.
Yeah, I was just trying to let
Minty lost all contact with them. Her father was frequently absent, managing the timbering operations on Thompson's plantation.
Her father was
managing, like
no.
he got like that's a job.
No, wait. He was frequently absent because he was managing a timbering operation.
Yeah.
So he was an absent father, my brother. That's what he's trying to say.
Because he had to go manage a timbering operation.
That's what I'm trying to show y'all. All this stuff that's the kind of stuff that this dude is saying. And when you adopt this kind of stuff, you know, you are taking somebody else trying to debunk our heroes because they mad. We making children's stories about women like her because we're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Well, she ain't free some 300 like she said she did. We only got records of only 70. Well, she did it. I mean, she did it better than you could ever imagine. You know what I'm saying? You can't even imagine how great she was then. That's what that means. How about that? You know what I'm saying? And I should write another children's book about her just because they trying to debunk it and put actual. Well, I don't have to put myths because she did something that was so great that, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But yeah, that was a great point though, Bakari. Her father was frequently absent managing the timbering operations on the Thompson's plantation. I wonder why.
And her mother was too busy with her work in the Broaddus home to spend much time with her own family. Minty was required to care for her younger siblings until she was hired out as a babysitter when she was.
And he was a free man, Bakari, but let me tell you something. If your children, Bakari, okay, you're a free man, right? And your wife is a slave, and then so that means your children are a slave. Are you free?
No, you're not free. No. How I consider myself free and my wife and children slaves? Hell no. No.
Well, dude is I just get remarried, you know what I'm saying? But all right.
Was, according to her recollections to Sarah Bradford, 5 or 6 years of age. It was a position in which she was first beaten as a slave, again, according to Bradford.
No, according to Harriet Tubman. You try to see how she was saying, she was beaten at 6 years old, well, according to Bradford. Well, it's not according to Bradford. Bradford was supposed to be writing what she was telling her to write, unless she was saying that she didn't, this white bitch was lying, or this white bitch was lying, or a white dude was lying about what he was recording. That's what he's trying to say.
According to Bradford, and where she learns to resist her owners in a variety of ways, including running away. Number 2, myth. She was born on the farm owned by Edward Broaddus in Maryland in 1820. Harriet Tubman's date of birth can be listed as one of several depending on the source. Tubman later claims that she was born in 1825. Other historians dispute that date, claiming that she was born in 1820, 1822.
Now, I think sometimes people will say, well, she's not real. They will use something like this. You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't know which year they was born. I tell you something. I have a great uncle, you know, my mom's uncle, I think her great uncle. And it says on her tomb, she died in like 1900, which is impossible because it also says like his mom was around the same age. So there's a lot of people who don't know what year they was born. You know what I'm saying?
My grandmama didn't know how old she was. My mom didn't know how old she was. I mean, my grandmama turned 85 about 8 years in a row. So then I was talking to my sister. She was like, yeah, she remember. You know, my sister older than me, she remember my grandmama having about 5 or 6 50 birthdays in a row. Didn't know. She didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they use this kind of stuff. And who talks about what plantation she was born on? We talk about her carrying 2 pistols and saying like, yo, don't turn around. So he's verifying, yo, she went back into slavery at least 13 times and at least saved 70 people. But he wouldn't know how many times and how many people because he's the very one she was trying to escape from. So why would she tell him that, you know?
1824 and other dates. Her certificate of death lists her birth year as 1815. Her tombstone reads 1820. The fact of the matter is that her year of birth is an estimate with no definite indication of when.
And this is another issue that we have when we try to look up our family history because like sometimes you need the date of birth and sometimes it be different and I think that it was kind of on purpose and they don't keep the records of certain things. They got records if they want to, you know what I'm saying? But us like not knowing what year we was born, all that stuff is like meant to throw us off, you know what I'm saying? So like it's harder and harder to track, you know what I'm saying? Like our lineage, our family, you know what I'm saying? Like our loved ones, our brothers and sisters. And I got this story, you know, like they said, you know, we started calling each other brothers and sisters because we didn't even know like who was actually our family because we were so mixed up after the whole ordeal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because your last name don't necessarily mean that what you ask your last name don't necessarily mean the person you meet with your last name is actually related to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there are people that was on the plantation or owned by the same person. And you could have a child that's like him, you know what I'm saying? The dude's children would have had another dude's last name, you know what I'm saying? Ross, you know what I mean? And not his last name, you know, her husband, you know. and that's just like you never know like who it was. You know what I'm saying?
True of her place of birth. She could have been born on the smaller farm owned by the Broadus family or the larger plantation nearby owned by Anthony Thompson. Since her mother worked in the Broadus home as a cook, it's more likely she was born on the Broadus farm, though midwife records indicate that she could have been born on Thompson's plantation in 1822. Number 1. Myth. She led over 300 slaves to freedom in the North. Several sources claim Harriet Tubman led hundreds of slaves to freedom in the North before the Civil War, greatly exaggerating her achievements. In fact, she led about 70 over the course of 13 trips to Maryland. Nearly all of the freed slaves came from Dorchester County, from whence she had herself escaped. The names of nearly all of them are known.
Now, the names of them are known, so they know the slaves who escaped, right? So he's positive that he knows every person that was associated with him, which county, you know what I'm saying? He knows this information, you know, because you know what? He's European, so I mean,
so are many of the agents and conductors on the Underground Railroad who helped her on her journeys. After the war, Tubman told her story to Sarah Bradford, who published it with the intent of raising money for the impoverished subject of the tale. It was successful. Many of the
Now, he's saying that, and I don't know where he got this claim from. He's saying that when he was giving her story, that she was exaggerating it to make the story better. As if going back into slavery, freeing 70 people isn't like, some iconic stuff that nobody else has ever done, you know what I'm saying, in itself. But the fact that she could say hundreds, and I could have freed hundreds more if they had knew they were slaves, well, now she's exaggerating. No, she freed hundreds of people and could have freed hundreds more had they known, like she said in the first time, you know what I'm saying? She said what she said. And they're saying that they were exaggerating it so that Harriet Tubman could make money. You know what I'm saying?
exaggerations which embellish her achievements were born at that time. Her achievements, they don't need any embellishments, and masking them with myths does a disservice to a remarkable heroine of American history. So I really hope you found that video.
No, we did not find it interesting, but he's saying, oh man, I missed all these comments. But he's saying that by her exaggerating it, he kind of messed up her legacy. Because he's trying to say Bradford, but if Harriet Tubman is the one who got this person to write her biography, because it's really an autobiography, but since she couldn't read or write, she got a white person to do it. Now, either he's saying the Bradford person was lying and not actually writing down what she was saying, or he's saying Harriet Tubman was lying and discredited herself. I don't know, Bakari. But yeah, you can say all you want to say on that one.
Hey man, that dude. Hey, them black people that be talking negative about Harriet Tubman, that's probably who they go to for their information, right?
Well, I don't think they know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this dude even know where he got it. He may have, because I think a lot of his information came from that book. Because the dude tried to dispel the myth of Harriet Tubman because, these Negroes can't be having no children's books about a hero like that. You know what I'm saying? Bro,
yeah, I know. And I'm saying, but the guy who's talking, that's probably who black people who talk negative about Harriet Tubman, that's probably who they get their info from. They listen to him. And a white person said it, it got to be right. You feel me? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel you, Bakari. I feel you. Wanda said on 5th, 1856, Brown and his sons attacked 3 cabins in Potawatomi Creek. They killed 5 men with broadswords and triggered a summer of guerrilla warfare in troubled territory. One of Brown's sons died. Okay, so they killed 5 men. Okay. Yeah, so, we'll see, But yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I may do another story on the John Brown thing, but I wanted to talk about the Harriet Tubman thing. I missed a lot of y'all comments. My bad, y'all. But yeah, man, that's we went through it though. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Bakari, you wanna say any last words, close it out, or whatever? Yo, you there, Bakari?
Yeah, I'm here. Look, I thank you for letting me come on. It was good. The chat was good. It was a good conversation. The chat was active. Everything was good. I was glad to be here on your panel, my brother.
Wait, real quick. So, from what I said, do you think that Harriet Tubman is real or fake?
Harriet Tubman is real.
All right.
Harriet Tubman is real. You feel
got
me? We working hard, working on Heaven 7 Chavis. He said Harriet Tubman didn't exist. That's what Dan Calloway said. Harriet Tubman didn't exist. I know who Dan Calloway is. Yeah, but they are not myths. Harriet Tubman was not a myth. They have no way of knowing certain things.
Yeah, the book is like called Harriet Tubman, the myths about her, you know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to say that she wasn't who she was, you know.
So then, you got people like him that took it and said she didn't exist. All it takes is a white person to say something. Like I said, man, then we run with it. But anyway, man, if y'all hadn't heard of me, y'all heard of me now. My name on here, the name you see on the screen is Intwai Demela. My channel is Brother Bakari. So if you like what you hear, go find Brother Bakari, smash that subscribe button, smash it, and come through and check us out. Go through and watch some of my videos, Mind Our Black Business. So before I go with that, we're just doing a Mind Our Black Business Challenge, right? So we talk about how we need to keep our money in our community. So starting tomorrow, right? Right? So starting tomorrow, we're going to try to do nothing but black businesses. If you don't live in the area where you can't do nothing for black business, we're going to do that a whole week. If you can't do everything black, just try to do as much as you can black. We're going to figure out a way. That's the challenge. We have went through the ice bucket challenge, the crate challenge. You go through the dancing challenges. So we're now challenging ourselves to learn how to keep our money circulating in our neighborhood. So if you go to the barbershop or go get your hair done, you let them know about that challenge. So, so they can put their money in a black business hand. So that's the challenge, man. So thank you once again. Peace and one love.
Yeah, definitely. And let me say this though about Harriet Tubman and Ida B. Wells and a lot of the great leaders that we have, John Henry Clark, a lot of them, in their older age, you know what I'm saying, they did have issues financially, you know what I'm saying, because we don't have a support system set up in a way, now there was programs and all of this stuff where they could create programs to help each other because they understood they had to circulate their dollars, and that's the difference. They could go to a black hospital, a black hotel, a black, a school, a black movie theater, a black all of that, you know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between then and now. But a lot of times, when people get older, they feel like, we don't do the necessary things and we don't support them the way that we need to support them. And even true to this day, like somebody like John Henry Clark, these are people that need to have some kind of way that as a community that could be taken care of in old age, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is something that's absolutely important, that we have each other's back and we stand up for people that stand up for us, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and they've been pushing that agenda, white people truly involved in oppressing us as a people. Yeah, you see all of the abolitionists, he should have been debunking that, but he wanted to debunk Harriet Tubman. Yeah, exactly, it's not in them. But it's us that's important, you know what I'm saying? It's important that kids understand that who she was, the things that she did, you know what I'm saying? And if she's not real, who is the person in the picture? That's what I want to know, you know what I'm saying? And there is actual things when she died in the newspaper and all of that stuff. So yeah, man. But yeah, I thank all of y'all for listening and joining. Shout out to Deion Sanders, my brother, for what he's doing so far. We'll wait and see. Maybe we'll be coons, maybe we won't. You know what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope. I try to tell Bakari because he'll have to take himself out in 5 years if he's wrong. but he's standing on the square today. So, well, yeah, man. So I appreciate all of y'all, Wanda and James, Bakari, y'all. Thank you for coming on. Amani Mungu, Truth 884. It's too many people that Tracy, Cassidra. Y'all subscribe to Cassidra Tanzan, Learning Curve. She's gonna be on tomorrow at 8. Then Tanzan after that, Bitter Medicine, Oni, everybody. Harsh Reality, he was on earlier. So Guy MG2, shouts out to all of y'all, man. And this is going to be my last words.
Yeah. You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Those things changed for the better and for the worse. So I called my mama and she said, baby, must be the money. Yeah. Must be the money. It's got to be, because I got people who want to be my friends. People I never thought about associating with.
All right, man. So as always, man.
Hey, let it play for a little while longer, man. I'm sorry. I was putting stuff in the chat. I'm going fast as I can, though.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, thank you, Wanda Chavis. Yo, shouts out to her. She always been holding me down. You know, she's been holding it down for a very, very long time. Shouts out to you. Yeah, they've been pushing the alternative facts for it's been longer than 1984. You know what I'm saying? They've been pushing the false alternative stuff. That's why they put us in groups, like, you know, where we speak different languages and we on this tribal stuff. You know what I'm saying? All of that was a planned thing. You know what I'm saying? Buffer class, the divisions with self. You know, because if we fighting each other, how we gonna go at the throne? You know what I mean? So, you know, hey, Bakar, you got to say who channel they is.
Oh, snap. Y'all just go through and subscribe to them since I forgot to put their name on there. Okay, one of them. Okay, Bitter Medicine is in his thing. So we got Bitter Medicine. We got Tanzan, African Mind. The last one I just put in, that's the pro-black perspective only. We got already put in a Harsh Reality podcast.
Yeah, and Harsh Reality podcast is on Sundays at 8. You got to get Cassidra channel.
Yeah, I'm finna get it.
Oh yeah, that's something that I do need to say. Realm in the Bush. You know, if y'all know anybody who's in the constructive field, like a dentist, architect, anything. You know what I'm saying? Any professional, especially if they're black. We definitely want to work with them, and she's trying to put together a apprenticeship mentoring kind of program, and to help our children, especially get them in the careers and the fields that we need. You know, because we need all of these things. Like that's why we got to all be in our own lane. You know what I'm saying? We need plumbers, we need, you know, all of these fields, doctors. So if you know anybody who does that, you know what I'm saying, make sure y'all go to realminthebush.com. Support that sister, what she's doing. And then with the water thing, if you know how to build a website or something, I gotta make this thing professional, because we're trying to help like more than one people. And if we can approach certain people in a certain way and then have it look like, you know what I'm saying, we know what we're doing, maybe we can get a lot of people involved. So, you know, it don't take money. If you have any kind of skills that can help that happen, you know what I'm saying, I want you to email me it's in the description at the forecasttalkradio@gmail.com. Make sure y'all do that. So yeah, because we gotta help ourselves, you know what I'm saying, because we are all we got, you know what I'm saying, and we got to put our tribal differences aside, because until we do, the same thing will keep happening. You know, my great grandkid is gonna be on whatever device or platform or technology talking about, you know, biracials aren't black. They're gonna be talking about our generation, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, Meghan Markle, she was black, you know what I'm saying, but you know, mulattoes aren't black. You know, we're gonna have the same arguments, the same divisions. You know what I'm saying? Your people are from, you know what I'm saying, the left quadrant. My people are from the right quadrant. You know what I'm saying? From neuro, you know what I'm saying, Planet Risk, you know what I'm saying? These are the Planet Risk people, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we got to understand who we are, you know? But yeah,
Yeah.
Bakari, yeah, go ahead.
I'm done putting the last one in right now, Comissy Fox.
There is a Project Sincere in Chicago that teaches kids STEM. I gotta look that up. I gotta play that. Project Sincere. I'm gonna let me get that real quick. Let me put that in. Look that up.
So I done put everything in there now.
All right.
Thanks everybody.
Yo, thank you, Bakari. I appreciate that. Y'all subscribe to everybody's channel. The Revolutionary Matron, the Revolutionary Matron is gonna be.
And I forgot to put her in there. I'm glad you said her name.
Oh yeah. Put her. So she gonna be tomorrow at 8 o'clock East Coast time. So y'all subscribe to her. Then Tanzan, 7 o'clock I think Tuesday, and then Bitter Medicine Saturday at 8 o'clock. Harsh Reality Sunday at 8 o'clock. Casidra on Sunday. I think she said like 1 or 2 or something like that.
Come on at 1 on
At
Sunday. The Pro Black Perspective come on at 11 on Sunday. I come on every Sunday and do Mind Our Black Business at 3 o'clock on every Sunday.
Yeah, so make sure y'all subscribe to all these channels, and then I'll be random. So it is what it is, y'all. But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.